My name is Shinjini, and I have done my master's in women's studies, where I looked at gender and sports, the intersections of gender and sports. And post that, I started working with the organization. And currently, I am the implementation, like the city coordinator for Delhi, where I look after the implementation in Delhi, yearly implementation in Delhi. And I've been associated with the organization for last 4.3 years and have been a coordinator for last 3 years. The design of the program is in such a way that it's a sports program, right? And in India, the trend about girls playing team sport is not there. Like in communities, if you go and see, you won't see girls playing. So it's very important for the overall design of the program to be successful, to carefully recruit girls. And for that also, you have to do a lot of things, like for girls, for girls to have a safe space for themselves to express themselves. You really need to go door to door. uh, you know you need to also realize who are the girls that really need the program, because India has a very, obviously India has a very diverse population, and Delhi in itself is a very multi cultural city. So it's not like there is just one kind of population. So you really need to see how you recruit girls, which girls really need the program, because it also depends on the organization's bandwidth. And then obviously everyone needs the program. So how do you judge that is very important for you. Because it's not a 1 or 2 day program. It's like a year-long program where girls stay with us for a whole year. It's like a set structured life skill and netball curriculum. So you also need to see that in communities, the girls that we are working with, adults and girls, they have a lot of responsibilities. They have to go to school, obviously, and then they have their younger siblings that they're supposed to look after. They're also supposed to do the household chores to help their mothers. So taking out time from that busy schedule, and also parents allowing them, because they're under 18, so parents also need to allow them to join the program. So even that negotiation, how do they do that negotiation, how do coaches support, and we go on ground and support them in having that conversation with their parents, because these are the girls who have never played, never gone out of their house. They only know the way from their house to their school, and that's all. They don't travel anywhere else, and now we are asking them to come and play twice a week in the evening to their community ground where usually all the boys play. So first is obviously breaking their barrier, and once they are convinced, then we also need to support them to convince their parents so that they can continue the program, because it won't be an impactful and a deep impact program if the girl drops out after 2 or 3 sessions. So how do we control the dropout, how do we support those dropout girls to then complete the program and be with us, also be associated with us for a longer time. I think those are the important things that we need to keep in mind before we start the recruitment. In the communities and even in the schools that we work with in Delhi especially, and this is true for India as a whole also, but I would speak for Delhi, that information around life skills is not there with the girls, but that is also divided. There is a population of people who do have access to those information, but there is a huge population which does not have access to the information. And there are also a set of population that can gather the information if they want to. They probably won't need our support if they want to reach out to that information or that resource, but there is a huge population who really need a lot of support and really need an equal playing field if they really want to grow forward. And identifying those participants is really important, because as an organization, it's not really easy to reach out to everyone, right? And it becomes more difficult in the community, because in schools, for example, we used to work in schools earlier, and we are still working in a hybrid model of both schools and communities. But post COVID, we have realized the need of the program in the communities is more, because school is a very controlled environment. If there are 60 girls coming to school, they will come to school throughout the year, right? Because the public education is free. Their parents won't say we will not spend on you, because they don't have to spend on them. So they will, complete their 12 standard. But in the communities, it becomes difficult. So then where are you spending your your financial resources, and then also your human resource, because that is also limited for us as an organization. We also can't reach everywhere. So where are we spending our time, our energy, and where are we trying to create a deep impact is really necessary to decide, because it can't be like one year you do a program in one community, then next year you move to different community, because the girls are constantly growing. So in one community only you'll have to work for like 10 years for the program to even have a deep impact, right? Because you have to impact the ecosystem of the girl, the stakeholders, the parents, the brothers, the police, the government stakeholders. So for that to happen, we really need to decide where we are going to work, and stick to it, commit to those girls, and really work with those girls for a longer duration of time. So if that is decided beforehand, it becomes easier for us to like divide our resources, and then give a meaningful program to the girls as well.